Once again, viewers at home, I welcome you to the program Folk Talks on URTV. Folk Talk is a weekly program where we have discussions on very important and topical issues. Today, my guest in the studio is a practicing lawyer with many years of experience and a professor of law. He is Professor Benjamin Ogwo. Am I correct, sir?
You're very right.
You are welcome to the program Folk Talk on URTV. Sir, the program I will want us to discuss this morning, the topic of discussion this morning is the trending issue between the Central Bank of Nigeria and the CBN over the new currency redesign and the monetary policy of the CBN. Sir, from the angle of the law, sir, do you see the CBN as having the right legally to do what they have done as regards the change of Naira and the deadline given? Do they have that legal right to do what they have done?
Thank you very much. You are welcome. Legally speaking, the Central Bank of Nigeria has the right, in my humble view, to do what they have done so far. To the extent that the Central Bank Act of 2007, especially I think it's in its section 17, gives the sole right of issuing currency notes to the Central Bank of Nigeria. Even the state government, even the federal government of Nigeria cannot issue notes, currency notes. So by reason of that constitutional right, that is the legal right conferred on the Central Bank of Nigeria by section 17 of the Act as amended in 2007, I vehemently believe that they have the right and the legal status to do what they have done.
After the change, the design of Naira and the implementation of the policy, yes, some state governors, precisely Kogi State Governor, Kaduna State Governor, and Zamfara State Governor, approached the Supreme Court, challenging the action of the CBN. Do those governors have the right to challenge the CBN from their position as governors of the state or in their individual capacity? Do they have the right to sue the CBN like they have done?
Thank you very much. I think the first issue is you may have a right, and in the course of exercising that right, you may have approached the exercise of that right wrongly. I have not personally cited the writs filed by the three governors to know whether it was filed in the name of the state. If not, constitutionally, the Supreme Court has two types of jurisdiction. They have their original jurisdiction and they have their appellate jurisdiction. In their original jurisdiction, if a particular state has a cause of action, has a case against another state or against the federal government, he can take that case directly to the Supreme Court. But in this context, I cannot equate Central Bank of Nigeria with the federal government, because the Central Bank of Nigeria is acting in its capacity as the Central Bank of Nigeria under the Act, that is 2007 Act, that was enacted by the National Assembly. So to me, that does not confer original jurisdiction on the Supreme Court to assume the jurisdiction. And with respect to the rights of anybody that is affected or claimed to be affected by a particular exercise of power can approach the court. But whether you have what we call right standing to complain against a particular cause of action is another thing. Now, if they went to court in their personal capacity I will say that they may not have right
Maybe if
of
they are
action.
gone, they approach the cause as
Governor Bello,
El-Rufai or anybody like that in
thank
their
you.
individual capacity.
I doubt whether they will have the right of action to be listened to, because in that situation you owe a duty to establish that the injury that you have suffered as an individual is far and above the injury suffered by any other person. If not, you can't single out yourself and confer on yourself right to complain against an act that has been done for the benefit of the nation. And I believe that since the Central Bank Act conferred that power on the Central Bank of Nigeria, and looking at the intention, which to me is for the benefit, the welfare of the nation economically and otherwise, for an individual to come and complain against that act, to me legally the claim is not justiciable in my own humble view.
Then again, still linking the matter to jurisdiction.
Yes.
I'm not a lawyer, but from a layman perspective of it, is the Supreme Court the right place for the governors to approach, or they will have approached other lower courts before?
That's why I was saying, that was what I was saying.
Yes,
that if that case is filed in the name of the state, then they were right in going to the Supreme Court. But if it is in their individual capacity as governor, the Supreme Court is not the right place to have gone. They ought to have gone to the Federal High Court, and I think I read yesterday or thereabout a case that somebody else filed at the Federal High Court over this matter, and the court struck out the matter. So Federal High Court to me is the rightful place for them to have gone. They were filing it in their capacity as the governor, not as a state. Yes.
Then again, sir, there's this common view by some people that this policy of the CBN is targeted at witch hunting some group of individual, or is politically motivated. Can you say anything?
No, in my humble view, I don't think so. To me, they are exercising the power the law confer upon them to ensure stability of our currency, based on what is happening in this country that you and I are very much aware. Our currency has lost value, and what they have done, to me, will enhance the value of our currency domestically and internationally. I agree that people are sovereign it now, but this interim sovereign is better to have a permanent solution of enhancing the value of our currency, both domestically and at international plane. So to me, let's remove sentiment of politics, politically motivated, and address the real issue in the interest.
Finally,
in the interest of the
finally, sir, considering your time, especially that you have a bulk of activities at hand, looking at the situation now that the Supreme Court have adjourned the case to the 22nd of February, do you not see that this case may suffer several adjournments, and at the end of the day, the aim of this exercise is being defeated at the end of the whole thing? Because Nigerian court is fond of adjourning case up and down and all of that.
Now, if this case was filed with the intention of the election, are you getting it?
I'm with you, sir.
Then one can say that the case may suffer prejudice arising from adjournment. But the issue of adjournment is what cannot be avoided. For instance, if what we have read on the social media are something to go by, like today now, the matter has been adjourned by the Supreme Court. We had also read that other states have applied to be joined.
9 other states.
Thank you, have applied to be joined.
Yes, sir.
And those people need to be heard. And there will be no need of shifting the election, because what the Central Bank of Nigeria did that led to the filing of this action is not for the purpose of election. I don't agree that it's for the purpose of election.
It's for economic stability.
It's for the stability of the economy and to enhance the value of our currency. So the case is expected to outlive the election. So it can continue even after the election. So I don't agree with the view, whether popular view or whatever, that this matter was filed to frustrate the effort of one particular presidential aspirant or the other. I don't agree with that.
Thank you very much. Viewers at home, this is the most you can take on this program today, and like I told you from the beginning of the program, our guest on the program today is a very senior lawyer, a professor of law with many years of practicing experience, a lecturer of law, and a very experienced lecturer in that case. It's in person of Vice Benjamin of Kogi State University. We appreciate your time viewing this program, and I hope to be with you again sometimes on this same program, sir.
Thank you.
You are welcome. We appreciate your time, especially within this short notice, and you make your time available for us to talk with you. We seriously appreciate you.
Thank you for
very much, sir.
coming around. The Kogi State University is formal, but now we are known as Prince Abubakar.
I finished from here and I'm used to the old name of my alma mater.
Yes, you are welcome back.
Prince Abubakar University.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Mete negbi na balyo memele me wakalo tubo ibo. You are TV, you are TV. Menawa, you are TV. Menawa kalo ina bali ogeta. Iyo buba I eyola ukola etete. Menawa kalo tubo ibo. You are TV, menawa, you are TV. Ibo Igala, you are TV. Menawa, you are TV. Eduni medododa Menawa you are TV adukola pogo Ukole ki wanugo Ekumene jumeli Bakumene timebo Menawa kalo tubo You are TV Selemabo Igala Nebukolo jamalia Ukole iyogu Mayuche iyogu You are TV Amadukole yopogo